checking out the signals for the Baltimore Colts. Unitas gives to Amici. The Colts are the world champions. Amici scores.
It's amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California has won the big game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
This is Phil Steele.
This is Mike Burnham.
This is Wes Durham.
This is Mike Ashley.
Hi, this is Chuck Foreman, number 44 of the Minnesota Vikings.
Woo, mercy, this is handsome Jimmy Vane, the Boogie Woogie Man.
This is Coach Fry with Virginia Tech football, and you are listening to Big Dog Sports Talk.
Are you ready to rock? Are you ready to roll? Okay, let's do it.
You're in the doghouse with Rick Watson on Big Dog Sports Talk, presented by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Join us in the Family Fencing Studios and chime in on the McClellan Chiropractic chat line. He's keeping cool with help from Little River Heating and Air, but this show is straight fire. And now, the big dog, Rick Watson.
Rick Watson's got the mic, he's the big dog king. Cover sports so sharp, it's a New River thing. Virginia Tech fire, rapid pride too. Every stat, every play, he's bringing it to you. He's got that voice, deep as a valley, breaking it down, no dilly, no dally. Big dog sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big dog sports talk, lighten up the dark. He's got the scoop, faster than a sprint. Calling plays like a coach, every word's a hint. From the courts to the fields, the stories unfold. Rick's play-by-play, worth its weight in gold. With a laugh and a growl, he'll pull you in. Big Dog's podcast, let the games begin. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Sports talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark. Big Dog Sports Talk, feel the bark, feel the bite. Rick's in the zone, every day, every night, from the Hokies to the Highlanders. He's got the spark, Big Dog Sports Talk, lighten up the dark.
Tuesday here on the program. Welcome, BDST. Hit us up on the Professional Door Incorporated text line and here in the McClellan Chiropractic chat room. Good morning, Prometheus. Good morning, Stephen. You love the Yellow Jackets. You love them. You love them. Marva in Miami joins us today. Brian Siegler from the Boundary Corner. And Mike Burnip, who updated us on everything that's gone on with the scrimmages. Since we're not getting any info from folks who aren't allowed to watch, Mike is allowed to watch, which means we'll get pretty good description of what's going on. As we get closer to what will likely be an anticlimactic opening night because it's VMI, but real football is getting closer and closer. Thanks to Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios, 540-200-8294. Thanks to Jason Green. Reach out to Family Fencing via that phone number or familyfencingnrv.com. Mark Hundley, you just go see him, 155 Walters Drive. McClellan Chiropractic chat room open for business. Mark is the best backcracker in the world. Yeah. Professional Door Incorporated, Travis Williams up in Dublin, 40 years in business. Text line is 540-391-0788. Thanks to Travis for his support. As always, please subscribe, like, and share everything about this channel. If you're new, if you go back and watch, like, and like some more. We'll hear from Louise Baker. Well, we won't hear from her. I'll talk about her later. Louise Baker, Team Long and Foster, will present Mike Burnip here today. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports Entertainment. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. And hang on, I have a new thing to read here. Behind the Ride, Mountain X is happening September 25th, 26. You can go to PulaskiMTN-X.com to read all about it. And I know that's something that Tim Miller has really put a lot into because he rides. He's a biker. A cyclist? He's not a biker. He's a cyclist. Tim's not running around, leather jacket, trying to intimidate people with his Harley Chopper. I just meant, Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg, 540-553-2971. Our BDST fan question of the week brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street in Radford. We've got to get a question today. We have to come up with a question. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of me. I looked it up. It's been like 37 years. And also this program, thanks to Larry Ramsey. ReadySetFund.com, BobChrist11 @gmail is how you can email him, CRIST, or read up at ReadySetFund.com for all the best you can find. With an opportunity to raise money for your school group, you're going back to school, sports teams, rec teams. Floyd County's girls softball has benefited greatly with ReadySetFund.com. And if you need electrical wiring of any type whatsoever, any kind of work done, do not hesitate to call the guys down at Sundown Electric in Elliston. The Smith brothers are outstanding. 5-star ratings all the way around. NRB Super Bowl is 382-5525. They are the best. They hosted us for our bash, and we will do that again. 382-5525. Reach out about leagues at every variety, men's, women's, mixed, and also for kids. And Lawson's Mobile Home Supply. How good is James? He started his business in 1997, so you're looking at 30 years. 381-8011, all sorts of manufactured parts for your home, and he's great to deal with. He is awesome. He is awesome. Well, we got a lot of people. What's up, Kendra? You can. You can talk to us all the time. I don't know what 6'7". Isn't 6'7" just some silly, stupid little thing that no longer is a thing, Joshy? That's something that kids try to do. Right? 6'7". But please, welcome. Please subscribe, whoever you might be. That's everybody, right? They get everybody in? Oh, Brandon at Top Shelf Apparel, 4377 Lee Highway. Thanks to him for our T-shirts as well. There you go. That takes care of about here. I'll even put this up. There you go. $20. So I need to ship them $30 if you need a T-shirt. What do I do with my beverages? I got to find them. Yep. All right. So college football season is just about here. And there's a lot of stuff that, what's up, Low Country? How are you? And a lot of stuff that is kind of settling down on the peripheral, which is really, really good. Thanks, Alejandro. Appreciate that. Thanks for subbing. I can check to see if you're telling me the truth. And you are. Thank you. Thank you. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to go through with what I mentioned. I'm trying to focus more on the games, because if not, I will systematically lose my mind. I have to deal with the reality of, even on our reality at Radford, with what's really going on in college athletics, and I know how bad it is. So I'm trying to focus on getting ready for games being played, personnel updates, things of that nature, until something breaks. I mean, the way I'm looking at it now, everything's hung up in court. The 5-year rule hung up in court. All right, the Protect Sports Act, whatever the hell it's called, hung up in court. It's likely not going to happen. So let's just try to, focus on all these things. What's up, noob? Noob to Legend TV. Welcome. Please subscribe. So that's what I'm trying to do. Because the start of football season should be a happy time, because it's our pastime. Because it's what we crave. Those of you who are out of the country watching the United States, you don't understand the passion that we have for the for football. In every phase, from rec league to high school to college and to pro. It is by far, and I don't know, by the way, I don't know if you can even say that baseball ever reached the heights that football is currently over the last 20 years here. Maybe during the Depression, through the wars and things like that. But it would be very interesting to kind of, I guess it's impossible to compare, but I know baseball was the fervor of the world. But football is what we all about. What's up, Isaac? It's good afternoon to you. It's good morning from us. Welcome. Please subscribe. The AP poll came out. Top 2 teams are from the Big Ten. Notre Dame's at 4. That's Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas. Indiana's at 6. Miami shows up at 7. So they've been unanimously now picked as a top 10 team. And looking at this, unless I'm missing someone, which is quite possible, the only other 2 ACC teams that I see are SMU at 19, getting a lot of love, and Louisville at 24. No Clemson. How about that? No Dabo in the top 25. Not that I disagree with it. Ole Miss way too high at 9. There's Penn State again. Penn State at 18. But all the rest of it, Texas Tech still getting, I think, way too much love, unless they had a quarterback that we don't know about at number 12. Then again, they bought great players at other positions. I got to hang on. Yeah. I'm double fisting it this morning. I got water and soda. Because sometimes you just gotta. But not a lot of differences, by the way. Not a lot of differences from the coaches' poll. What's up, Jordan? Thanks for hitting us up on the Professional Door text line. Georgia's last national title? 2022, right? 2022? Big Ten's won the last 3. You can check me on that. I think that's correct. I might be incorrect. Interesting that the most top 25 opponents this year, Arkansas, Texas, and Kentucky, 7 apiece. How about that? So if the Longhorns make it to the title game, they're going to earn it. Oklahoma, Michigan, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Ohio State, Texas A&M each have 6 games against top 25 opponents. Yeah. So there you go. And it's just more little tidbits as we get closer and closer and closer. Where are we now? We're at August what is today, the 18th? You'll have the foundation games this weekend in high school football. Regular season starts the 28th. And week 0, and then week 1 of the regular season will hit. Hope Morris is doing okay. Thanks, everybody. I got a lot of messages. Thanks for all the well wishes about the passing of the Mick. Appreciate that. Meant a lot. It never stopped all day on the Professional Door text line. And people were DMing me. Thank you. Thank you. It's a tough day yesterday coming on after that news, but we do what we do. We do what we do. What's up, Malcolm? On the text line. What's the first Super Bowl you remember watching? Wow, Malcolm, you're a lot younger than me. First Super Bowl he remembers watching was the 49ers beating up on my Broncos. Thanks for that, Malcolm. Appreciate that. So you're talking the 89 season and the 1990 January Super Bowl. First Super Bowl I remember watching. Well, that's easy. I remember it vividly. Super Bowl 10. The Bicentennial Super Bowl, because that brought about my father's favorite team and my mother's favorite team. It was the Steelers and Cowboys, the Bicentennial Super Bowl in Miami. 21-17, I believe, was the final score. And that was the Lynn Swann catch game. The one out of the end zone, Terry Bradshaw, the juggle at midfield. But then the catch that he made on the sideline, I believe Herb Washington was the defender. He looked like a ballerina where he got both feet down. It kept the drive alive. I think it was a big third down play. That was the first Super Bowl that I remember, that I can vividly remember, Super Bowl 10. Prometheus says Bengals 49. Okay, so you were pretty close to me, a little later, Prometheus. Low Country. Oh wow, you're a lot younger than me, Low Country. First I remember was watching Rich Gannon and the Raiders versus the Bucks. Oh man, yeah, the revenge game for John Gruden. From the start of VMI and VPI football clash in 1894 to current day VMI and Virginia Tech mismatch, where Virginia Tech will roll up some monumental points. That will be hard to watch. BDST is live and on live. Rita says these early rankings are for TV purposes mainly. I'm starting to believe that too. It's just propaganda. Nobody takes any time on it. Hype. I'm with you. What's up, Tebow? Eagles versus Oakland. Ron Jaworski. You know what? That's going to be our attorney. What's up, Isabella? Hola. Ooh, Isabella. That'll be our attorney Ryan Pry, BDST fan question of the week. What was the best Super Bowl? The best Super Bowl you can remember. Bum, bum, bum. That's our question. See how things just kind of fall into our lap because I got one nice text from Malcolm. Super Bowl 7, Southwest Virginia to Texas says, I was devastated that my Redskins lost to the Dolphins. Yeah, the only touchdown was the Mike Bass interception of the Garo, your premium play, right? Other than that, Redskins played them off their feet. Yeah. Morris DeMick passed away, who was a great guest host, good friend of mine. He was a pastor here locally. His service is here locally on Friday. I'm going to try to make it over and give my respects to his wife, Peggy, on Friday. Great guy. He hosted. He was a true New Yorker, grew up in Brooklyn, dealt with the mafia, worked for some scrupulous fellows when he was young. He was a leg breaker. Stuff he's told me, stuff that he told me, not that I'm making up. It's real. It's not just a movie portrayal. It's real. Turned his life around, became a pastor, and was just a big-time Yankees fan. Huge baseball fan, and a great guy, and did a great job here on the show, and he will be missed. He will be missed. So, yeah, Super Bowl 10. That's the first one. I can remember almost everything about that day. Sitting there, it was earlier in the day. It's before it got so late at night. I remember it was still daylight out. Sitting in the living room. My mom with her big mug of coffee. And her and Dad having some friendly banter back and forth. Good times. And a pretty good football game. Remember when Jack Lambert, when Cliff Harris was, Roy Jarrella, I believe, was the Steelers kicker, number 10. And he missed a field goal, and Cliff Harris, who was kind of an ass, went over and was like being sarcastic and patting him on the head. And Jack Lambert grabbed Cliff Harris and just slung him to the turf there at the Orange Bowl. And just got down in his face. The Intimidator, Jack Lambert. Yeah, we've been thinking about you a lot more. So I know you're going through it. I know Prometheus had to go through something. Everybody, we're all fam, man. We all try to support each other. Bereavement is hard. I hope Mom and everybody's doing okay. And rest easy, Aunt Mary. But yeah, good Super Bowl. And I was already a football fan. I guess I remember watching, but that was the first game. I don't remember Super Bowl 9, which was the previous year. That was the Steelers and Vikings. Super Bowl 10 was back-to-back for them. They went back-to-back twice. Yeah. Mick was Mick is what he called it. After Mickey Mantle, his all-time favorite player. The Mick was a pastor in Radford and then in Christiansburg. Grace Baptist Church, maybe, Morris? I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Mean Joe Green Coke commercials. It's still maybe arguably, maybe not even maybe, it's the greatest sports commercial ever. It was so well done. The timing of it so subtle, where Joe Green, wearing his road white Steeler jersey, was coming out of the game. He was limping. And the kid offered him a Coke after Joe kind of blew him off at first, and he drinks it all in one big guzzle. Hey, kid, catch. You can find it on YouTube if you don't know what I'm talking about. See, that takes subtle creativity, and it doesn't mean anything to today's creativity, because they have no clue how to make something so simplistic, so classic and legendary, yet so effective. Yeah, he was a good dude. I'm going to show you here. If you missed it yesterday, the last picture he sent me was this picture, and he got to meet his Yankee hero, Mariano Rivera. That's Mick on the left. And, of course, that's the greatest closer of all time on the right, Mariano Rivera. This from a Padres fan who had Trevor Hoffman. There's no doubt that guy was the best of all time right there. So there was the Mick. And he said Mariano also a Christian. They had a great conversation about God, and he said that it was one of those deals where he felt like he was bothering him, but then Mariano Rivera kept talking to him for like 20 minutes. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. So there you go. There you go. Yep. The Super Bowl. And it wasn't then what it is now. Obviously, it was building. It was the culmination. Black Sunday was a movie they made after that Super Bowl where they had terrorists trying to do something to a blimp, if I'm not mistaken. Where's Wayne? Wayne's my pop culture movie reference checker. What's the greatest Super Bowl? That's going to be, in your opinion. Let me know. Hit me up. That'll be our hit me up on the Professional Door text line 391-0788 or just DM me. What is the best Super Bowl? Not necessarily your favorite, but the best. What's the best game? Prometheus saying Super Bowl 35 in 2000, Titans versus the Rams. That was the tackle at the 3-yard line or 2-yard line, right? And I think a lot of times people will say it was a great game because of one play. Which game was the best? The Broncos, when they won their first Super Bowl, now this is completely my bias, but the Broncos-Packers Super Bowl 32 in San Diego, it was great. It was in my baseball team stadium. John Elway finally got one. That was a great football game. That was the Terrell Davis game, the migraine game. Antonio Freeman caught a touchdown pass. Antonio Freeman caught the first touchdown pass of that game in the back of the end zone. I wish we had more great games in the Super Bowl. You know, from start to finish, great games. I'll give my vote. I'll have to look it up and I'll have to see. I will have to see what is there and kind of get my own memory unclogged a little bit about the Super Bowls. Like, to be honest, are you guys like this as well? Like, the more modern Super Bowls, I don't remember them as well. It's become such a mega thing. Like, from the Patriots run is when it started. I remember those games, but I don't have them as part of my conscience like I used to. Like you remember all the games growing up. You can almost remember every play of every big game. Jackie Smith, the second time the Cowboys played the Steelers. Vince Ferragamo missing a wide open Billy Waddy the next year, 1980. And the Rams, heavy underdogs, really should have won that football game. I remember, obviously, the 2 Bronco wins. As Prometheus mentioned, I remember the Titans, Rams. You remember the Vinatieri field goal. Remember the comeback, 28-3. Arizona, Pittsburgh. That's right. That was a good football game, wasn't it? The catch in the back of the end zone. The long return for a touchdown. Was that James Harrison? That was a good game. That's a good call. Arizona, Pittsburgh, Matthew. So we're already getting some votes. That'd be good. What's the best Super Bowl? I'm not going to give them away early. We're up to about 7 or 8 here. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. Yeah, the Falcons collapse. I remember the Seahawks game where they didn't give the ball to the Pete Carroll special. I remember the Eagles when the Eagles beat the Patriots, that first one. I remember that one. Low Country says, I was wrong. I remember the Pats Rams in 2002. I was 5, would have turned 6 in April. Very cool. Very cool. Tebow says, think about it for a minute. Just how many guys Frank Beamer developed into NFL players. I looked the other day, and it's a hell of a list. Yeah, that whole staff. Developed is the right word. It doesn't get stated enough about what a great developmental staff Coach Beamer had. And obviously you can mention Coach Foster and Coach Steinspring, but Billy Height, Coach Height, Charlie Wiles. When Kevin Rogers got there as the quarterback's coach, Kevin Rogers is a great guy. I need to try to find Kevin Rogers again. He used to come on the show all the time, the first radio show. I mean, they had some dudes that knew how to develop. 100%. We talked about, the walk-ons that made it big, or guys who weren't recruited very heavily that they turned into really good players. And to Tebow's point, not just system players, but players who were good. To make it to the next level. Yeah, Ricky Bussell. He went to coach the Louisiana Raging Cajuns for a while. Wayne says Browns versus Colts 1964. Oh, you said the Super Bowl. Dang. 87 Super Bowl, the Browns versus the Giants. Oh, yeah, Denver cheated. How did Denver cheat? Denver didn't cheat. They just kicked the field goal that was clearly good. I mean, it was in your stadium. If anybody was going to get credit for cheating, it would have been the Browns, not the visiting Broncos. Ooh, that's a good one, Prometheus. Ooh. Yeah. Tyree with the helmet catch. David Tyree, right? Just how? How did he hang on to the ball? And then they hit Plaxico Burress. That's what ruined that's what kept the Dolphins streak alive. The Patriots were undefeated until that game. Yeah, I did too. Ricky Bussell was a good dude and a good coach. Didn't work out for him when he left to be a head coach, but that was a hard program to try to go and win. But yeah, great dudes. All of them great guys. And this isn't any kind of derogatory comment about the new coaches, but it was a different time then. You had such easier access to those guys, and they were willing to talk because they appreciated people wanting to talk to them, and they took a lot of pride in their players and building a program. It was a lot of good stuff, man, with that group. Great dudes who understood that they were, as they came along on Coach Beamer's staff, whether they were there at the beginning or whether they were there in the middle or toward the end, they realized what they were part of. And they had a really big appreciation. Absolutely. Chico says, I had no idea the Browns even made the playoffs. Yeah, they did 3 times, and they lost all 3 times to my beloved Broncos. Two of the games, very close, and then one of the games wasn't close. 2 of them in Denver. The third one that wasn't close was the one that the Broncos won, and then the 49ers decided just to beat them like they Yes, Marvy, you have the link. I will let her know. Okay, so this has been a good question. We've already got about a dozen or so answers for the best Super Bowl. Okay, good. That's our Attorney Ryan Pry question. That's right. The second game, that was Sam Weish, who was a disciple of Bill Walsh, and without just Joe Montana being Joe Montana, the Bengals that second game especially, they had a chance to win that football game. Should have won that football game. There was a coach named Dalmatian, I remember. Dude had a reputation that he would develop your ass whether you liked it or not. We should try to get him on the show, that Dalmatian guy. I've heard good stuff about him. Yeah, the Biner fumble, and then the third time Denver just beat the hell out of the Browns. But yeah, the other two was the overtime game, the drive, when those horrible Cleveland fans were throwing milk bones on the Broncos players. The dog pound. And then the Ernest Biner fumble that would have sent the game into overtime. That wasn't the game-winning touchdown, but that would have sent the game into overtime. Bernie Kosar had a great game that day in Denver. Yep. I was throwing batteries. And, of course, now the Browns, in Cleveland Browns fashion, with a brand-new stadium they're showing off with a plastic field. People were ripping it yesterday when they showed, oh, look at our new stadium. Oh, nice aesthetic there with that rock-hard turf that you're showing off. It looked terrible. God almighty. How do you make that decision to spend billions of dollars on a new stadium and not – you can grow grass inside. Don't give me that excuse. The Browns have never not played on grass, ever. In their history of their franchise, they've always played on grass, and they decide to put in the plastic stuff that the players do not want in any way, shape, or form anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cleveland Browns franchise. Moore says, I heard Elmo was like a tornado. Yep. Is this Belichick's last year in Chapel Hill? It very well could be, Tebow. It very well could be. Either by choice or he may not have a choice. People forget how good Montana was. Exactly. Well, we don't. We know here on this program. But Joe Montana was the GOAT. Brady and Montana had a similar type of game. Great accuracy in the cerebral part of the game. Brady was bigger, stronger arm. But Joe Montana is still, by a lot of people's measures, is the greatest quarterback ever. People kind of forget. They get caught up in the moment of newness, and they forget about the legacy of some of those folks. Terry Bradshaw, a very underrated quarterback, had those great defenses. And I will still say this, the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. They didn't dominate any of them. They barely won all 4 of them, even with that great defense. Think about that for a second. Now, they beat the Vikings in Super Bowl 9 because the Vikings were just miserable. We mentioned the Cowboys game. The bicentennial Super Bowl was 21-17. I believe the second one was 35-31 Cowboys. Jackie Smith. Vern Lundquist, by the way, you remember him from college football and calling the Masters on CBS. He was the play-by-play voice for the Cowboys. Oh, he's got to be the sickest man in America. And then the Rams game where they were heavy favorites. And Vince Ferragamo had a chance to beat them late, and Billy Waddy's 10 yards. If you ever watch it, the John Facenda calling making the great voiceover for those Super Bowls. I think the last one he did was Redskins and Raiders, and then he got ill. But Billy Waddy is running like this with his arms up, and Ferragamo locked in over the middle and threw it right to Jack Lambert. Wendell Tyler was terrific in that game. The Steelers did not dominate any of those games. Defensively, they were good, but they didn't wipe away any of their opponents, despite being the team of the decade. T-Bird says Coach Elmo is busy fishing. That Big Money Seth may be available to interview. That's a true story. People keep asking, is that true? Yeah, I wouldn't make that up. Yeah, he called, wanted to be on the show. We just broken the news about the ACC. We were gliding, man. We were everywhere doing remotes. Hey, man. Yeah, Coach, we'd love to have you on. That's great. Oh, okay. Well, let me get you with my guy. It'll be $500. $500 a week. Oh, well, you see, yeah, we don't have that kind of budget here. You can't make up the pomposity of that whole episode with him. Guy's just a toolbox amongst toolboxes, that guy. If I had to pick a quarterback to win one big game for me, I'd pick Montana every time. Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. I think John Elway was he had better physical skills than Joe Montana, and he had really crappy receivers. You're right about that, Prometheus. At the time John Elway came out of Stanford, he was looked at as being maybe the greatest physical specimen of quarterback ever. And there's a lot of people that still feel that way. But the organization never paired him up with a guy. Well, they never had anybody smart like Bill Walsh who said, we're going to take Jerry Rice. We had, the author. I don't want to mess up his name. I think he has since passed away. And he was telling the story about Bill Walsh and his genius. And I don't want to. David Harris. Thank you. David Harris was on the old show. And he was talking about the conversation he had with Bill Walsh about Jerry Rice. And at the time, you're at the combine. He didn't run very well at Mississippi State, played against bad competition. He heard it all, right? Teams, he goes, no one's going to take Jerry Rice. We are. He said he told this to his room. We're going to take him. I know a lot of you don't want to take him. A lot of you think he doesn't have the transferable skills at this level. And I'm telling you, he's not only going to come here, he's going to become the greatest wide receiver of all time. And guess what happened? That was the genius of Bill Walsh. Dave Harris told me that story when he was on the old radio show. Tebow says, I'd like to get on Dallas fans about being irrelevant for years, but Pittsburgh is in the same boat. Correct. Much like Notre Dame football. There she is, Marva in Miami. Hey, how are things going? How's the allergies?
A little bit better.
How's the lizard? How is he? How's our guy? How's our Tegu?
I have not seen the lizard. So I don't know what's going on.
Really? Ooh.
I don't know if a neighbor finally called Fish and Wildlife or just been missing him or just moved on. I don't know.
A little disappointed.
Yeah, sorry, no reports.
I wanted a Tegu update.
I know.
Wow.
Watch this and I'll see him this afternoon or her. Yeah, whatever.
Did you have a favorite NFL team growing up? Have I asked you that question? We're talking about Super Bowls. I got a question. It kind of turned into something.
Yeah, when I was a kid, and I don't know exactly how this came about because it wasn't from my family, and it continued on for a very long time, but I was a very big Steelers fan. I enjoyed watching Steelers when I was a kid, and because remember at this time, North Carolina did not have a team. This was before the Panthers came on. Gosh, I don't remember exactly how old I was when the Panthers came on, but was it when I was like that very, very young and impressionable? And of course I did, jump on board with the Panthers and Jake Delhomme, but not when I was like really young. They didn't have them. They were not there yet. Didn't exist.
Makes sense. The Steelers were a lot of folks' adapted team. Wayne says, don't worry about the lizard. He's just in your closet hiding, trying on your clothes. No big deal.
Wayne. Oh, Wayne. What we doing?
That's going to happen. You're playing this off. Yeah, it's going to happen. You're going to walk around one day. You're going to hear a noise. You're going to open a door, and he's going to be there. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, there's a bit of conflict in the house. Like my husband wants to call whenever we say, call the number, please. Just get the Fish and Wildlife people out there to get him. And I'm like, no, that's mean. Let's not do that. So it's a bit of a conflict. But yeah, if that would never happen, Rick. But if it did, I would call him immediately. But again,
Okay.
it's never going to happen.
So it's going to take him being inside your home before
No.
you'll call
Or
and
if
listen
he
to
was
your
like got close to me, like if he was in the front and he got close to me or something. But just a couple times we've seen him. It's been in the back, whatever. Comes under the fence.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to bother anyone. So.
All right. We'll see.
But yeah, if he got too close, I would immediately call. Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Somebody asked in chat, will this be Bill Belichick's last year in Carolina, either by choice or by not choice? What are your thoughts? Let's look beyond everything else we know, the embarrassment with Jordan, all the stuff going on. What do you think is going to happen beyond this year? Is it solely depend on the field? I don't know what it's about.
I really think he hates the way last year went down. He thought he was going to be a success. He thought he was going to come in there and figure out this college thing very quickly. That didn't happen. And so I still think he has a lot of pride. And I think he wants to be able to say, look, I turned this program around. I think he desperately wants to say that. And so if they do better this year than expected, and I know that the AP poll came out yesterday, and a lot of people were surprised to see Carolina not mentioned at all. I don't know if they got any votes. I haven't dug into it that deep. I know they were not in the top 25, which I'm sure you discussed.
No, they were not. They were not.
Very surprising. Yeah.
Very surprising.
Yes. So he wants to be able to say that because he wants to go out on top. He wants to be able to say, I turned this program around. So I think if they do better than last year and it's a respectable, well, I mean, they only won 4 games. So that's, if they win 6 games and, they go to a bowl and win the bowl, I think he's going to stay, even at his advanced age. I think he wants people to say, oh, he put his stamp on that program. He turned it around. I think that's what he wants. But if Carolina has another 4 or 5 win season, no one's going to want him back, I don't think. So in that case, I don't think he will have a choice. Maybe they'll be nice and allow him to say he is retiring to spend more time with his family. That's what we love to say. So-and-so is, they want to step down so they can devote more time to the kids.
I think he's sitting around wondering, okay, so here I am. I've done all this in the NFL. A lot of it very scrupulous. A lot of it has deserved the criticism and a lot of people wondering, what in the world's going on there. Because he has done some things that don't make any sense. But yet he didn't make it first ballot of the Hall of Fame. And I think he got a sense of what people think of him, right? Let's just be honest. That's the way that works. Yeah. I think people were definitely very critical of that.
Yeah, because it's performance and it's also its personality too. I mean, it's supposed to be just about the performance, but how people feel about you, like do people think you're a nice guy? It matters in the voting. I mean, don't you think?
It does. It matters. It matters. It does, but I think.
And then the scandals that didn't help, even though he had the wins. The Super Bowl wins, it's like, there are a lot of people who are still very upset, about Deflategate or about the sign stealing. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And then when you have to combine that with the personality that's kind of rough, I'll say, it makes it, you don't make the first ballot, right?
Correct. But he's not going to make any ballot in college, right?
Rick, if he turns this thing around, if Carolina becomes the new Indiana, who knows? Right?
Well, let's go through the schedule. You want to?
Oh, my goodness, Rick. Do we have to go through the schedule?
I think we have to go through the schedule.
It's a little tough.
All right. So they're going to play TCU in Ireland on the 29th. They got beat last year 48-14 by this team.
I had forgotten that.
48-14. Well, I did too. I just saw the score. That was down in Chapel Hill, by the way.
Yeah, that was a blip, Rick.
Did you know that North Carolina's 0-8 all time versus the Big 12, and they gave up 543 yards to TCU last year?
I didn't know that, Rick. Where are you getting this information?
Yeah, I'm reading right here. See, Phil's never wrong.
That could be a misprint. Anything.
All right, so you're 0-1. You take a week off. Got to recover.
I mean, you don't know though, Rick, when you're playing outside of the country, when you have all that travel factored in and all that kind of stuff, you don't know what might happen.
What's the spread on that game?
Rick, I don't do the gambling. I have no idea what it is. Okay. But yeah, I let's not say that's an automatic loss, Rick. Let's say that that's a challenging start to the season to see where the team is.
Okay. East Tennessee State. Woo. I think you'll probably knock off the Bucks pretty easily, right?
So it could be 2-0.
We're go 1-1.
Okay.
We'll go 1-1.
I'll take that.
At Clemson on the 19th, you last beat them in 2010. You haven't won on the road in Death Valley since 2001. Wow.
Okay. So that means they're due for a win.
1-2. Then you host Notre Dame,
which you have been downplaying. You don't think very much of them this year, right? So,
well, no, I think their defense is going to be outstanding. The Tar Heels are 2-21 all time against Notre Dame. Boy, these numbers are really great that we're going over. I'm going to go 1-3. What's your record? We'll go my record, your record.
Rick, I mean, think about it. Look at, again, you have to go back. You have to look at last season. You have to look at what Indiana did. They didn't have a history, football greatness.
Yeah.
Right? They probably had really bad records.
They were really good the year before, though. They made the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, but, you have to start somewhere, Rick. The comeback has to begin somewhere. And
True.
I mean, I'm sure that Marcus Freeman is concerned,
Yeah, he probably is. Not. All right. Then you go to Pitt the next week.
Okay.
On October the 10th.
I think we may have a better record against Pitt.
They do. You lead the all-time series 12-6.
See? So
I think you lose. I think you lose that game too.
Wait a minute. So I'm seeing surprise win against TCU. Then
I'm going 1-4.
East Tennessee State. I mean, maybe Carolina loses against Clemson or Notre Dame. One of those, maybe.
Yeah, I got you 1-4 at that point. At Duke, here we go. The big rivalry game. What do we got there?
Carolina should be. I know Carolina hasn't been doing as well against Duke. But I mean, I'm expecting a big win on the road.
I think you're losing that one too. I mean, it's on the road. It's a rivalry
it doesn't
game.
Mean anything, Rick? On the road, it's right. It doesn't involve travel. It's right down the road.
10 miles away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's no big deal. Okay.
I'm sorry. Then you host Syracuse. I'll give you that one.
Okay. I mean, I'm saying right now, possible losses against either Clemson or Notre Dame.
Possible losses?
Yes,
okay.
Possible close losses. Those are going to be tough games. So.
I'm going to give you Syracuse. I'll give you Syracuse. Mm-hmm. So you're 2-5. And on my birthday, I'll be on an airplane to California, unfortunately. Halloween. Miami. 2-6. We won't even, there's no point in even, but the Heels have won 5 in a row in the series. How about that?
See? Make it 6. So
5 in a row in the series. 2-6 for me.
That one I can't remember. Is that one in Miami or is that one in?
No, it's in Chapel Hill.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to put that one down as a win. Again.
At Connecticut.
It's cold up there.
You better not sleep on Connecticut in November.
I'm sorry. Once it
I
starts,
don't- you know what? Let me look. UConn is
it's
one of
a little
those.
bit. I think we've had some good games with them in the past, or some difficult games, and also playing there. It's going to be in November. It's going to be cold up there. Yeah, I mean, it could be challenging, but again, the challenges I see are, we talked about Clemson, we talked about Notre Dame, but
new coaching staff, new team. That's right. They lost Jim Mora. He took the job.
I mean, I
Colorado
see
State.
Carolina maybe going into that game with 2 losses, maybe, possibly 2 losses. Still a winning record.
Rebuilding year for UConn.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you UConn.
Okay.
Now that I see all that. So that's 3-6. Louisville. Ooh. 3-7. At Virginia on the 21st. South's oldest rivalry.
That can be difficult. But I think, wait, what did you say you had Carolina at?
I have them going, after they lose this one at Virginia, I have them 3-8.
No. I mean, it could possibly be like 9-2.
And then the Wolfpack at the end of the year.
That's always tough, but I think, Carolina has to win that one. And then, when you finish the season, you're like, 10-2. This will be a totally different conversation that we'll be having.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, You're probably going to be like, hey, you've got to come on. You can't just come on Tuesdays. We've got to talk about what's going on with Carolina football. That's what the people want. Yeah, I don't know who that person is. Tebow, lost. What are you talking about?
I've got you 3-9. I've got you 3-9. I might be completely wrong, but I've got you at 3-9.
10-2. I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Tebow there. I don't know what he's talking about.
1-11, 2-10 at best.
That's not what I'm hearing. That's why I was so shocked they didn't make the poll. But I mean, who cares about the poll? I care about the postseason poll. The last poll of the year. I don't care about
the postseason poll. You think
the last poll of the year? Yeah, nobody cares about this one. They always get things wrong.
Brian Oliver says you're a bigger dreamer than Hokie fans.
Come on, this is the year. This is the year that for the big comeback. I mean, that's what what do they say? The setback, or it sets you up for the comeback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what the coaches say.
Watcher. Yeah.
Yes, the ceiling is the roof. Thank you, Wayne. Wayne gets it. Okay. Yeah, we'll be talking about all these wins. We'll be talking about the surprises. We'll be talking about TCU being stunned in Ireland.
Well, who knows?
I mean, what's going to happen to Dabo if Carolina goes down there and wins? Clemson fan will be irate.
That's an interesting question. He's not ranked in the AP poll.
Yeah.
Dabo, this could be it for him, one way or the other. I could see that.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of struggled. I mean, he sort of hated the transfer portal. And I get it. I get why he hates it. I get it. But the fact is, he's going to have to change the way he does things in this new day, right? Or, I mean, there were people last year that were upset with him and wanted him gone.
Correct.
I have some friends who are Clemson fans, and they were not happy with him. They were not happy with their program, falling so fast. People weren't talking about them anymore. It just didn't, so we'll see what happens. But losing to Carolina there at home would be bad for him.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out for your Heels. But I've got you at 3-9. I think things are going to fall. I think things need to come out about what happened with his son. That's been weird. You got to admit that he's gone away and no one has brought it up one time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just talking about that earlier a few days ago and with some friends, and it's like, what could it be? And it's hard because you respect someone wanting to keep their medical information private. You know, we've seen this sometimes with celebrities that have serious illnesses and they just don't want everybody talking about it. They want to be able to deal with it in private. But I feel like something, if they would just say something, just we don't need to know all the details. We don't need to see the charts or anything from his doctors, but just some sense of what he might be dealing with. I think that would be reassuring for people to know just what is it, because it's so vague to just say, you know, it's a medical issue, because we know it has to be serious for him to be out, right?
The Lombardi thing is just hanging over the program.
Yeah, no, I mean, that investigation, I can't remember right now. There are certain rules about that investigation as to how long it should last. And I can't remember right offhand right now. I don't know if it's like 60 days. Like there's a certain time. You just can't leave somebody hanging in the wind like that. So, you know, got that situation going on. But the Belichick, you know, that is, I think, even more like with the players, you know, what is going on with this coach? What is happening? Nobody knows.
Yes. Nobody knows.
It's I just don't know, because when someone gets out like that, I mean, you automatically think, well, this is a very serious illness. Is this something that could keep him out for the whole season? Or
feels like we'd have heard something newsworthy if it were. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're suppressing it. It's been weird. That whole thing.
Think about the dad, but he never likes to reveal anything. You know, Bill doesn't like to reveal anything. So maybe, you know, he's the one driving this bus and saying, "Hey, we don't need to say anything. They don't need to know anything." Don't you think? I mean, that's kind of his attitude, right? They don't need to know anything.
Oh, he's driving the bus all right. One way or the other. He's driving it right off a cliff. But yeah, he's driving the bus. Yeah.
So, Rick, we just got to I just want us to get to the game so we have something really to talk about. You know,
well, this was good. We went over the schedule. It was good. It's healthy cleansing. People are very excited to see how excited you are about their season.
Yeah. I mean, 10-2, we're having a different conversation.
Correct.
And
we would be having a much different conversation at 10-2. You're right.
Very close losses.
100% correct. You are correct.
So we'll see. So we keep this. Make sure you mark this date down. You know, we keep this so we can replay this when that comes to pass.
Yes, we will replay this as we go. If you guys end up having that special year that you're talking about, yes, we will. 100%.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen, have a good week and update me on the Tegu. I want the Tegu.
I will. If we see the lizard, I'll let you know.
All right. Give my best to your fam. When's school start? When's school?
Already started. Thursday.
How's everybody doing?
Well, up until today, everything was going fine. But today I have one kid at home. My son came home yesterday and he was like, eyes were kind of red and he was sniffling. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I feel a little sick. Okay. I thought, okay, no big deal. Get some rest. Everything, you'll be fine in the morning. Got him up this morning. He's like, I don't want to go. I don't feel, and he's not that type of kid. Like, he loves school. So usually it's like, I'm telling him, no, I think you should stay home. But today he's like, no, I don't think I should go. So one kid is already sick, Rick. How does this happen?
I'm sorry. I don't know. That's not a good start.
You're surrounded by all these people and just
not a great start, Marva.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, he's home today. I'm hoping we can get him back tomorrow. But yeah, he's already got the bad cold. You know, he's already, yeah. So what can you do?
Well, my best to him.
Thank you.
And to you. He's got the best nurse mom around.
Yes, I will be watching over him today. Getting lots of fluids in him. I said, you can't go to school today. We're not going to spend all day sitting on the tablet. Yeah,
just remember, when all else fails, you've had the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
And the greatest defensive football player of all time.
Yeah. And women's soccer player. So
okay, that doesn't really count. But we're gonna count the other two.
Yeah, give Mia Hamm her due. Okay. I
don't think she's the greatest player.
Well, let's just say
I think she had a great collegiate
career. She had a great career.
She did, but she's not the greatest player.
Rick, come on. You're not even a soccer guy.
No, I'm not.
Just say she had a great career, and we can go out on that note.
Okay. All right. All right. Have a great week.
Okay. You too.
All right, be good. There you go.
Bye-bye.
Marvin, Miami. We love Marvin. Now, Marva says that, but she knows it's going to be a challenging season for her Heels. But hey, she's a fan, right? And if she's right, oh my goodness, I'll never hear the end of it. Tebow's got him 2-10. It looked like 3-9 to me, and that's me giving him the Connecticut game. But I'd forgotten for a moment that Jim Mora left Connecticut and took everybody with him. They went to Colorado State, so they're going to be rebuilding. Perfect attendance blown, man. Finding out Brent Venables made Dabo. Yeah, I think both coordinators kind of made Dabo. We're finding out Tony Elliott's a pretty damn good football coach. And if Brent Venables' defense is as good as advertised, Notre Dame and Oklahoma is being widely talked about as having the best two defenses in the country. Sorry, y'all. I had to have some soda this morning. Just not feeling it. Not feeling the energy. Low Country says we could see UNC, Clemson, and FSU with head coaching openings. Yep. Sure could. 100%. Think I'll buy me a Duke hoodie, cut the sleeves off. T-Bird says. He misses Sunshine Trevor. Yeah, me too. It's not the same in the pros for Trevor, but boy, when he was at Clemson, the golden locks were flowing. He was an outstanding collegiate quarterback. He feels like he's finally turned the corner in the NFL. It took him a long time, but boy, he was an outstanding college quarterback. It really was. I think that powder blue plays Jedi mind tricks on Carolina football. It's a soft color. I think what plays mind tricks on Carolina football is the guy who's running the program. I don't really appreciate all this conversation about the negativity around. We don't think about that. It's on to Ireland. Go ahead, don't believe in us. No, we're not going to answer any questions about the constant controversies that keep rolling around here. I'm not going to mention Mike Lombardi. I'm not going to talk about my son. Leave me alone about Jordan's cheerleading competitions, okay? We're here to win football games, and that's what we're going to do here in 2026. Don't ask me any questions about not being elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Okay, I think it pretty much speaks volumes. Actual footage from Bill Belichick. Brian Siegel from the Boundary Corner joins us next. We'll see what those guys got into last week. Bunch of hellions. There's room on the wall for a signed photo of Goldilocks. True, I could get, in his Clemson helmet, like maybe when he would take his helmet off and shake his hair. Yeah. Your Belichick impression could be a good ASMR track. I'm not really sure what that is. We're here to talk about football. I don't know. I'll ask Jordan what that is. She'll know. I don't know things like that. Thanks to Lawson's Mobile Home Supply, 300 North Franklin Street in Christiansburg. James at 381-8011. The NRB Super Bowl 382-5525 leagues are forming. Men's, women's, mixed, and kids leagues. If you need an electrical issue with your home, your business, call Sundown Electric down in Elliston. The Smith Brothers, outstanding. ReadySetFund.com is a series of text messages, and your organization, your athletic team, whatever it might be, can raise money. Reach out to Bob Christ 11 at Gmail. Professional Door Incorporated, 40 years in business. 540-674-0008. And they're the sponsor of our text line. which is very popular. National Bank member FDIC, the exclusive banking partner of this program and YouTube, and they will continue to be so. If you're having problems with your bank and you need to switch, you would be making a mistake not to, at the very least, go down and check out National Bank, ask some questions, and meet their wonderful people. The fan question of the week brought to you by the attorney Ryan Price, 701 West Main Street, Trust and Estate Planning. What's the best Super Bowl? We've already gotten almost 20. That's pretty fun. No, I'm not going to give it away. Not yet. There's one that's starting to get a lot of love. It may or may not have been mentioned already in chat. Little River Heating and Air, 1095 Radford Street in Christiansburg. Thanks to Charles Lee, the blue and black truck getting it done. We're presented each and every day by Pulaski County Sports and Entertainment. Thanks to Jonathan Sweet and Tim Miller. They are the absolute best. And don't forget about the BMX race we talked about a little while ago. We're going to get, as we get closer and closer, get Tim on here and talk about that more. Mark Hunley, McClellan Chiropractic, 155 Walters Drive. He can crack a back, that guy. And Family Fencing Studios. Get a free quote, 540-200-8294 here in Ryder. Family Fencing, sponsor of our studios. Right over the Denver plate. Now, I've already got the Gratishar jersey, Wayne, and pretending like I don't know you mean to cover up the Denver plate. I'll eat a whole box of Lucky Charms. But, Tebow, that's not really torture. Hell, I could do that any Saturday morning. If you haven't eaten cereal in a long time, and you got a hankering, and you just all of a sudden, you know what? I'm going to eat some cereal today. What's the cereal? That might be a good trivia question. What's the one cereal you couldn't stop? Mine's easy. Buy or sell. Tech will end up in the AP top 25 poll. I don't know, man. The pollsters are weird. They're biased. They don't give the ACC teams benefit of the doubt. Right? All that stuff is just yeah. I would say sell just unless Tech has a really good year, just because I don't trust any of the voters. Fruity Pebbles for the win. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I could see that. Wayne's going with Super Bowl 25, Giants. Yeah, the Whitney Houston anthem. Wide right. That was a great Super Bowl. Bill Parcells and the Giants, the red, white, and blue teams when America was still unified, not divided by all this worthless-ass political crap. Remember that? That's a good one, Wayne. We're taking your votes now. That's our BDST fan question. Joining us now on the program, it's Brian Siegel from the Boundary Corner. Look at that. And he's got like a maroon. Look at that. Look at that. Your shirt. Well, your attire always gets conversation pieces going. Here, look at that. You got a nice collared Tech shirt going on there.
There we go, baby.
I like that.
It's Hawaiian shirt Tuesday, so I gotta support the crew.
Let me ask you this now, because you know I am about jerseys and uniforms, and I hate when teams just ridiculously add black that for no reason. Tech's done that in the past. They're going to do so again this year. They just haven't announced it yet, but it's going to happen. Do you have any black Virginia Tech apparel?
I mean, I've got a bunch of black T-shirts with like, a helmet or like a color, a name mark on or something on it, but I don't have like an all black jersey or anything like that. So
yeah.
I think T-shirts you kind of get a little bit of a leeway there because you're gonna put you got to put it on something
because black and gray is kind of like a given right on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean white, black, and gray are like the defaults, and then
that's true.
You start to get
true.
into like you can color match your team from there. But
that's a good point. But no jerseys. No hats or anything like that. Because when I used to do the tailgate show over there, and black was I never saw any Tech fans at tailgates wearing anything black. They always had maroon or orange on. So
I will say I do have the all black Metallica Virginia Tech hat.
Okay, well.
So I do have that.
Okay, all right.
And I did have a huge problem with some of the black jerseys, particularly the 2010 iteration, but I think some of the other choices have been a little bit suspect. And just throwing black just for the sake of black, I kind of, at least Virginia Tech does have, hey, our original football team colors were black and gray. We at least have that to fall back on whenever a question comes out.
Yeah, they like to say that, but that's not why they're doing it. You know it, I know.
Oh, it's certainly not why they're doing it, but it at least gives them a out that other teams don't have.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Look, in my defense is this. I think Virginia Tech has one of the most classic, simple uniforms in college football. I think they've got the unique color scheme going for them already, maroon and orange. They don't need to do anything to it. When you wear that maroon helmet, that maroon jersey, and the white pant at home, I mean, that's a perfect uniform to me. Perfect uniform. I don't need, and I like the all white. I go back to the Vic Air. I just think it's clean. It's simple. It says we're Virginia Tech. We don't need all this other crap, right?
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I when you talk about blacks, like the best jersey, I guess that had any sort of like black as the primary for Virginia Tech was definitely the Pro Combats. Like that was kind of that's the one that I'll like let slide. You kind of had a good amount of maroon and orange still kind of in the uniform itself. So, that one I can do. What are your thoughts on the Hokie Stone jerseys? I know they kind of made a reappearance.
I hate them. I think they were the most hideous things I've ever seen. That and the helmet. That just no.
Nothing is as bad as the.
What's the worst one?
The maroon and orange camo on the sleeves. And
is that the worst one ever?
That's the worst one. Yeah.
What's your worst helmet? You get a lot of differing opinions about the worst helmet. The turkey tracks one? Was it the one with the turkey tracks? I've heard people say that.
That might be it. Yeah. that might be the worst one. We late 2000s, early 2010s, we were certainly throwing stuff at the wall to see what was going to stick for alternate jerseys.
Yeah.
And some of it was cool, and some of it was like, what are we doing?
They just let Nike do whatever they wanted. They just said, well, okay, sure, we'll put it on. Whatever you want to do, Nike. Whatever you want to do. Whatever.
Maroon and orange camo, just color blocked on the sleeve? Sure.
Sure. Why not? Why not? Yeah, I'm with you. Camo helmet was bad, Wayne said. Yeah, the camo helmet was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole uniform top to bottom was just awful. Yeah. Like at least some of the other ones where I didn't like the jersey, I liked the helmet, or if I didn't like the helmet, I liked the jersey. Like that top to bottom was just bad choices. I don't know who checked the box to sign off on that one, but
well, I think the Tech helmet is nearly perfect. I like it simplistic. I like it. The VT is perfect for the helmet. You don't need a stripe. I like some of the old school looks. I love the old stack VT. I love that when the old stripe. That was fine, but I love the helmet. I don't think you need to touch it. I just don't. I don't understand why they do all that. I mean, I do. I guess I don't know what they get out of it. I can't imagine they're selling merch. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. I don't know.
I mean, I think some of those are going. I don't think they sold a ton of those maroon and orange camo ones, but I think they did sell a bunch of the script, the maroon script on the orange helmets. I think that did pretty well.
I could see that.
That's certainly more. It's certainly more of a baseball look than a football look, but I think if you're just throwing it as a one-off, I think that's fine.
Well, let me ask you this, because you're like Mr. Virginia Tech, and I mean that. I don't like the VT on other outfits. I love it on the helmet. It's perfect. I think the basketball uniform looks stupid with the big VT. I don't like that at all. I want to see Virginia number Tech. I want to see Hokies incur. I want to see my era. I want to see Del Solomon. I want to see Bimbo Coles and Del Curry uniforms. I don't need the big VT, and it looks bad on the softball and baseball uniforms too. It's not designed for that.
So what Rick wants, he wants the big VT on the helmet for football.
And you can put the VT
Virginia
on the sleeve.
number tech for basketball, and then you want the Hokies script on the hat for baseball.
Yeah. Well, no, Hokies is good on the basketball jersey too. The Bimbo Coles there.
Yeah.
That looked really good.
I mean, we kind of were like us in Oregon were the first to like really go with that like stencil look too for the word mark. So that was kind of cool.
And the VT can be there like on the sleeve or on the short, but it shouldn't be prominent. It doesn't look good on the basketball. Sorry. Don't get me started on uniform talk.
Let's start a riot in the comments. Let's put the academic logo on stuff. Let's start putting the academic logo on stuff.
It's pretty bad, isn't it? Is it pretty bad, the academic logo?
It felt unnecessary, and they start using that in branding. I think a lot of people had already associated the athletic logo with Virginia Tech, and all of a sudden you bring out the the new academic branding. You're like, why do we even need to do this? What's the purpose of this?
100%.
Who is this serving?
We've got that at Radford too. We've got our great athletics branding, and then they've got the campus branding. I don't understand why it's not. I don't know. I'm with you. I don't understand why we do that. But
well, you already had like the the pillars, and like just keep it with that and
keep it with that. It looked great. Yeah. Sometimes I don't think Tech appreciates its own history. They've got good stuff. They've created good stuff that has a legacy. They don't need to work so hard to change it all the time. That's all I'm saying. All right. So what did you guys get into last week? I know you had a lot of good discussions. Everybody back and fired up now. We're getting closer.
Everybody back fired up. Yeah, last week we had Pete B from Too Deep. We had Dan Pultz from Tales from the Terror Dome on with us. We were a full crew, full foursome. And we talked a few position groups, particularly tight ends, defensive line, talked some cornerback, talked a little Ty Howell, what he's bringing to the table, some of the other stuff the position coaches are doing, talked a little bit about what that we still it's the season's about to start. We still got Penn State fans chirping in our mentions anytime James Franklin comes up, either amongst our group or amongst the national media. It's like, oh, James Franklin mentioned, so you got a bunch of Penn State fans in the mention. So we've been talking about that a little bit, and it was a good time. We got another one coming tonight. We got Mike McDaniel from Hokie Hangover, and everyone knows David Cunningham, the real D Cunna from Tech Sideline, is going to be on with us as well.
Well, that'll be good. So what was the consensus? You guys getting into record prediction yet and all that, or are you holding off on everything?
We're just sticking strictly with over under the 6.5 line that has been floated out there by Vegas.
That's fair.
Everyone took the over on the last one, so we'll see if I know the crew that's coming on tonight can be a little more cautiously optimistic than maybe drinking as much of the hopium that I think some of us do.
Hopium, I like that.
But I think it's going to be okay. I mean, everything I'm looking at, like linebacker, I think is the only position group, and maybe safety, that I have big concerns about. But that's more depth than front line. I think the front line linebackers are going to be really good. I think at least one half of the safety duo is going to be really good. I think the question is depth. Safety, it's more unproven, and linebacker, it's just thin due to attrition in one way or another, whether it's injury right now with Santiago and Gabe Williams, whether it's guys that left, and whether it's guys that changed position. We kind of had all three impact that room, so it's going to be interesting to see how that room and safety shakes out. But I think some of the other groups are starting to look a little bit better. Offensive line's mostly healthy. Wide receiver, I think, is starting to really look good. You got Aiden Green and Queso, and now you're starting to get some other guys stepping up behind them, it sounds like, in fall camp. So excited about what that group can do, especially with a guy like Grunkemeyer being able to pull the trigger and get the ball to those guys.
And not because I don't think they won't be good. I'm always going to worry about the offensive line until I see that it's actually, I'm always going to worry about it. I'm always going to
I will throw a little bit of cautious optimism behind that. I think, Franklin recognized, and I think that's one of the reasons that Matt Moore was retained, is that everyone last year knew that we were going to run the football heavily because we could not throw it, whether due to inability to hold the block at the tackle position or just Kyron struggling with decision making, timing, all those things, accuracy. And so we were heavy running the ball. Everyone was stacking the box against us, and we were still able to rush, put out a top 30 rushing attack, despite playing against the stacked box every week. So I think he recognized that and said, I'm fine running it back with this guy if he can get that type of rush impact with a stacked box. But let's get a couple tackles in there because we got to make sure that our quarterback is protected, and that's what they did. So good to see Terry and Howland kind of working in there a little bit. I'm interested to see what that ultimate line is going to look like. What's the best five going to look like to kind of start the year? But I feel a lot better about tackle than I did this time last year.
Would you buy or sell the next statement that Jeffrey Overton could develop into an all ACC running back this year?
Buy. I've been buying that for a while.
Yeah.
and that's not any knock on Hawk, but I think we're still going to be a heavy rushing team. And you got to remember, looking at the carries from last year, I know some of them were scrambles and things like that, but there's about 8 to 10 carries a game that went to Kyron Drones that are probably going to get divided between those two running backs this year. We might end up throwing the ball maybe 5, maybe 10 at the most times more per game than we did with Kyron, but it's not going to be a significant departure in terms of kind of run pass percentage. I think it's just going to be more efficient with how they do it.
I agree with that. I think Overton, I think Gronk, and I think Reynolds are going to be all offensive ACC members. I do.
Yeah.
Right off the top of my head.
Just Overton is so explosive. And I think that's kind of the separator. Like I said, I think, Marcellus Hawkins is a very, very good running back.
Yeah.
I think Overton's just game-breaking ability is what's going to set him apart.
I agree. I think you're exactly right. I don't want people to think I'm dissing Hawkins. I'm not. I think he brings a lot. He's a really good kid. He's a tough kid, and he'll be fine. He'll have his role, but I just think Overton is something special. I agree. Dwight Vick's been on this guy since he was in the 8th grade and 10th grade. It's going to end. Yeah, he's been on him since he first saw him in Little League. Whoa, hey, hang on. He looks different.
That's different.
That's different. And when that guy sees something that's different, you better pay attention, Dwight.
Oh, yeah.
So,
my ears perk up anytime he mentions the name.
I know. Exactly. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Mike Burmp's going to be on. We're going to talk. He saw the last scrimmage. He gets a little privy information there that most people don't. So I'll be interested to find out what his thoughts are about some of the things that we're talking
Absolutely.
about. So you guys going tonight? Everybody back?
Tonight. Like I said, Mike McDaniel, David Cunningham. It's going to be a blast. So check it out, 9 p.m. We're on. It's going to be everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, I need to talk with you. I don't know how to get. Everybody keeps saying I should put the show on Instagram, and I don't know how to do that.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, just ping me when this wraps up, and I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, I need to start doing that. Everybody's asking me why I don't. Simple. I don't know how. I don't have the time. I need to figure it out. Don't you have to have like a Instagram business account or something?
Yeah, and you got to be able to set up like a live stream in advance. I think is the biggest difference between that and a regular account.
Okay.
And then it gives you a stream key that you just put into the.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna hit you up with. I'll hit you up with that later. Yeah, I might. Yeah, I'll shoot you a text later. So
awesome.
All right. Well, have fun tonight. I know you guys will. 9 o'clock, all nighter. It's an all nighter. You're gonna go all night, aren't you?
We'll be going at least 90 minutes. I mean, we're a little bit long-winded, so we don't mind digging into it. We don't mind digging into it.
No, 100%. Well, have fun, man. Appreciate you as always.
Awesome, Rick. Always a pleasure, buddy.
That's the Boundary Corner podcast today. All right, brother. Take care. Boundary Corner, the guys will be together tonight. Yep. 9 o'clock. Check him out. Yeah, I need to bother him about how to do that. Everybody asks, and I've never done it. And it's because this world frightens and confuses me. But no excuse now. I'm a year into this format. I should be able to figure that out at this point. So I'm going to look into it. I am going to look into it. Good stuff from Brian. Mike Burnip comes up, brought to you by Louise Baker at the top of the hour. And we'll see what he thought of everything. Oh, I didn't ask Brian his favorite Super Bowl. I meant to. Or what was the best Super Bowl? Yeah. You get random text. Someone named Kenneth says, I don't understand the point of tattoos. They've never made anyone look better. Thanks, Kenneth. Sorry, I'm just reading some of the text messages about. We're getting some good stuff about the all-time best Super Bowl. So this is going to be fun. This is a good one. We've already gotten like two dozen entries. Keep them coming on the professional door text line 3910788. Tebow says nobody ran over Miami last year like Overton. It's a good player, man. He's got that little thing about him. You know, he's got that. And it won't, Dwight Vick was the first one, and he'll always get his flowers on Jeffrey Overton, right? It is. We're a live show, May. Maybe it's just Bob. What's up, Bob? Please subscribe and don't say anything stupid in chat like a lot of people have. Not the usual crew that I've had to get rid of today. The bots. They find you, don't they? That's good. That means we're getting around. Plus, I can control it quickly, so it's not that big a deal. Not that big a deal. But we're getting some good stuff for the Super Bowl, man. This is fun. There's another one. Thank you. I'm going to wait. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to influence. Sometimes I feel like if I start talking about certain things and what's taking the lead, people might fall back into that. We got a good range. We have a couple that's kind of getting more votes than others. Unfortunately, nobody's voting for my Super Bowl, Broncos-Packers Super Bowl 32. I'm too steeped in my bias there to. Bob is just an acronym. Yeah, we love new folks being here. We just don't put up with any of the craptoid, the bots that say ridiculous things. Yeah, I'll never understand the purpose of stopping by someone's stream, someone's show, and saying something ridiculously stupid. That's your existence. Make it make sense. Thank you. Maybe it's Bob. Appreciate that. What's up, Blair Allen? What's up, brother? When are you going to start starting high school coverage, talking about coaches? Go Floyd Buffaloes. Yeah, go Coach Cromer. Yeah, we're going to get into that with Coach Mabry. I don't know if there's going to be an official 4th and Goal show this year, but we're going to have a high school segment I got to talk to Coach Mabry about. Yeah, I am, Wayne. It's all you. It's all you. We're talking sports. We talk everything here on the program, but we're a dedicated sports show. We are. We'll get into some high school football. Of course, we're slated to carry Blacksburg football here starting the 28th. on the channel. People say, why Blacksburg? Well, they're the only school in the area that do not have a broadcast outlet. Pulaski County, Radford, Christiansburg, Floyd all have broadcast outlets. Blacksburg, the biggest high school in the area, and the sister school to Virginia Tech, if you will, does not have a broadcast outlet because the local radio station that carried it went kaput. ESPN Blacksburg, burned up in flames, not literally, but figuratively, which doesn't surprise me. But so we're trying to extend the olive branch. I have a lot of respect for the program that Dave Chris built. Coach is a great person. And with the legacy of Blacksburg football and the state championships and the great players that they have put out, they deserve to have an outlet. So that's what we're trying to provide here in 2026. You don't hear enough out of high school camps. Like, I don't have time to go around and talk to coaches, so I don't feel like I can really get into it until we get into the season because I just don't have time to learn about the personnel. I hear from coaches. I hear from people watching the programs. So I don't like to come on and talk about something that I'm not really prepared to talk about. So that's why I haven't just thrown out comments about certain. I don't know much about what's coming back at certain places. Like, I know there's a great vibe up here at Auburn. A great vibe. They've got weight room kicking. They've got increased numbers. People are saying Christiansburg might be a little down this year. I'm just telling you what I hear. Floyd's going to be good because they're going to be well coached with Coach Cromer. I haven't really heard a lot of positive things about my Pulaski County Cougars. People seem to like Giles this year. Anybody up in that area? What do you think of the Spartans this year? But I got to talk to Coach Mabry about it. We will have a segment for high school football. We will. I just don't think I'm doing a dedicated show this year. How unique and ahead of others. Which aspect, Wayne? It's football. It's American football. Maybe it's just Bob. Yeah, we don't get into a lot of, soccer talk here in America. We had the World Cup. We talked about it some then. I'm calling soccer now for Radford University. We've already called 2 matches. One went well, one not so much. And we'll have volleyball soon coming up as well. We will have, I'm going to ask, what I'm going to try to do for my high school coverage is reach out to coaches and have them come on with me. That's what I want to do. And that way you're getting it straight from the coach. And I think a lot of these guys will be honest. So Coach Michael Chris down at Radford, Coach Cromer, people like that, I want to have on and I want to talk about all that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. And I figure that way you're getting it straight from the source. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do. We try. We try. But the 4th and Goal format didn't really work on YouTube like it did on radio. So we'll see how. We'll see what we end up with. What's great about this channel, I can just do whatever I want. I don't have to go and bring it up to someone and say, okay, well, I'll take it to this person. What did they say? Oh, well, they haven't gotten back to me yet. Or, oh, I didn't send the email yet. I don't have to worry about that right now. What's great about YouTube, like the biggest, if you go to the shorts from yesterday, the biggest reaction I got, most watched, was the one we were talking about, the Spider-Man movie. That was great. As everyone agreed that Jean Grey was completely evil and horrible. So that's good. That's good. But we'll figure it out as we go along. Oh, that's not good. So they don't have a block anymore so you can lift? Oh, my goodness. So Pulaski County, you have to show up at 6 a.m. to lift. You can't, really, they don't have they can't use that as a PE anymore? Really? Wow. Well, since I played there, and I graduated from there, and I played for the greatest coach, I have a right to express my feelings however damn well I want about Pulaski County football. It's very disappointing to see the administrative direction that they've decided to go, to completely almost make one of the biggest generators of local revenue, of excitement, of genuine fanship, and just kind of put it on the back burner and treat it like it's just anything else. Take it beyond the coaches, take it beyond what you might think of what's going on there, and it's not good. The record pretty much tells you what you are is your record, and it's not good. At Pulaski County, hasn't been for a number of years. The football has not been good. But then again, where is the commitment to it? I know TP's done a great job, Tony Powell, trying to get the touchdown club back together and get support, and I think he's made some inroads there. I'm not shy about telling you immediately that the first program I went to try to get their games here was Pulaski County, and it immediately got shot down. It was either a lack of understanding or a lack of trying to understand. The quality of the games that they've had on the radio have been horrible, and it has nothing to do with the announcers. But if you tried to listen with the just god-awful equipment they were given, you couldn't understand the games. They would disappear for several series. It's not fair to the sponsors. But that kind of thing completely got overlooked. Nobody gave a damn. They just kind of keep on, well, this is just what we've always done, so let's do it. And so after that, I turned my attention to Blacksburg, and they were immediately receptive. I went in and explained what we do and showed them, more or less. I took the computer and showed them and explained, of course, I was there for a couple of years calling the games, and you have a history here at this program that means a whole lot, and they have a good new head coach and a program on the rise, and they said yes. So that's where we're using Blacksburg. Well, I think the people that know football do, Big Al. He says Pulaski will never realize what they lost in Mark Dixon. No question. I worked with Coach Dixon 2 years he was here. I was calling their games. It was the last time I called high school football. Outstanding coach. He had some health issues, but very shortly into his tenure, he started to get pushback from the collective around, and it was something that I think completely took him off guard. Completely took them off guard. So he tried to completely, he had to tear it down. He had to bring in a whole new thing, and then people didn't like it. People got their feelings hurt. Parents got involved, made themselves way too involved, and he just, along with having some health issues, said, you know what, it's just not worth it anymore. But I agree. He was starting to turn the program around. The late Dan Callahan, that was the last thing he influenced, was getting Mark Dixon to Pulaski County High School. And that got screwed up pretty quickly. Stadium's empty. It's disgusting. And I appreciate the people that are trying to revive it. I appreciate what TP is doing. And I appreciate the people that are still trying to rally around the program. There are a lot of old Cougars that are up there trying to get this thing beyond what it's been. But it has not been a good program for a long time. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a waste. And I get frustrated. Get back on a Friday night from a whenever I'm broadcasting, and I'm looking at watching one of the high school shows, and I'm looking at the scores, and I'm like, oh. What's up, Travis Williams? Speaking of professional door, Bobcats physically dominated Abington football team last Friday, 4 touchdowns to 1. Yeah, I've heard some good stuff about the Bob Kitties. The 2026 could be another bounce back year for them to be back in contention. I think Trav has a couple youngins that are going through the Radford system. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. DVP says this is what they've always done means they are in denial. Correct. Need to bring back the Jack Attack. Yeah, I mean, Jack Turner had it going. Jack Turner's a hell of a football coach. He still hasn't been able to figure out how to be on the show. We're gonna try to do it through his computer. Yeah, but Jack is now coaching in West Virginia. He's retired in Virginia, so that's why he's coaching in West Virginia. So he won't come back to coach here. But he is a really, really good football coach. He turned this program up here at Auburn on its ear. He made Auburn a playoff team back-to-back years. He got the weight room going, and he turned it into what it used to look like. I helped out from time to time when he would ask me at practice, and it reminded me of Coach Hicks. It did. Big Al, Pulaski kids and parents not willing to put in the work. The parents are, I don't know. I think that's pretty much the way it is everywhere. I think that's what coaches are dealing with. And it's not all parents. It's not all. It is. It's one of those things where it's probably gone on for generations and decades. It's probably gone on since the 50s, the 60s. Right? There's always been meddlesome parents, but it seems like it's become to the point now where you can't coach. You can't go around and be a certain way because of so many things that have come to play here in the modern era. That's why I say all the time, I respect coaches so much for going out and trying to work with young people. I mean, first interview I had with Coach Reese, he's sitting down with him. He's like, I'm an old school guy, but you got to make sure how things are going. You got to adjust. Just, it is what it is. It is what it is. Of course, numbers have a lot to do with it. Do you have enough kids? Do you have enough folks to choose from to make a good football team? DVP says it is the, quote, few parents these days that have ruined it. 30 years ago, nobody listened to them. It's correct. And now the minority, and I think it's still a minority of those parents that cause all the disengagement, are now put into the forefront, that they've now become the loudest voices. And there's no doubt that the kids have changed. In my mind, they've changed a lot just because of this thing. You're exactly right. Kids who just get completely bogged down with this, social media, entitlement. But I'll say this, talking to kids, once they get to college, they want to be coached. I've talked to a lot of basketball players throughout the Big South, both for Radford and other teams, that say one thing that they didn't like about their high school experience was the fact that they felt like they were allowed too much leeway, and they get to college and they really want to be coached. That's what made me better, whether I was, being coached at a younger age, whether my dad did it, whatever it might be. Getting back and learning and being coached is something that they crave, which is refreshing. But it does speak to what DVP and Tebow are talking about. At that level in high school, a lot of times coaches can't or they won't decide to coach. And we lose a lot of quality on the football field. We lose a lot of things. This is something we'll get into with Coach Ragsdale. I think he'd be perfect to talk about this the next time Marty and Rags is on. I know we just had him on a couple weeks ago, but maybe we'll get into that a little bit with Coach. And when we have the high school coaches on, we'll ask these questions and we'll get their thoughts. I don't think the coaches get enough respect from the people around the program for what they sacrifice. In most cases, they aren't making a great deal of money, but they love teaching. They love the game, and they want what's best for your kids. They're not out there trying to make life. Now, there's always going to be anomalies. There's always going to be somebody who's, selfish and trying to not give a kid what he needs. But I think that's a minority, especially with the coaches around here. We have some really good coaches. Well, that's the thing. When it is a business, it is. High school, it's become a business. Kids are getting paid in high school. They're getting paid to move from high school to high school. They're getting paid to represent. And we're talking at a level of kids that are going to be recruited nationally and all that, but to wear certain gear. It's already happening. I hear about it from coaches across college hoops. And you have to deal with that a lot. Not even talking about portal kids, but you even have to deal with that a lot at high school. We have to have a portal mentality. One coach told me we take a portal mentality now when we go to the home of a high school kid because we know that this is going to be the question. How much? What do you got? What do you got? And that's not everywhere. Here in our communities, right? Friday night football still means something very special, or it should. It's the personality of our communities. It's the legacy of the men who coached the parents in a lot of cases. And we've lost that in a lot of places. Not every place, but it's been lost in a lot of places. I hope that it bounces back. I hope it continues to be positive in places like here in Reiner, which it is. And we've seen that growth at other places, and I hope it continues. We need high school football to be a special thing again here in Southwest Virginia. It's okay to treat it as a special entity. Everything doesn't always have to be lumped into the same category. And I think that is a mega problem. All the political correctness, all of the desire to make sure you don't hurt anybody's feelings. Well, you're not hurting anybody's feelings by football is a one-off. It is one game a week. It's unique. This isn't like playing 2 or 3 basketball games in a weekend at a tournament or having a couple baseball or softball games, volleyball matches. And there's nothing wrong with any of those sports. But you see, the way their sports are set up, it's completely different. This is a sacrifice that a lot of people will not make. To give up most of your summer to get your body in shape, to get into training and to be ready to go. And then to go out and be part of full contact and sacrifice your body in a way that other sports don't ask you to do. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be for everyone. And it's okay to treat it like it has always been treated and looked at. The legacy, look at all these high school football websites and channels, the Virginia High School League, the things that Coach Mabry's involved in. What does it center around? High school football. That's what brings look, every time we have Marty and Rags on, look at the reverence in Marty's face when he talks about those Friday nights at Giles. It's okay to have that. It doesn't mean you're taking away from any other kid in any other sport. Doesn't mean that at all. But some deserve to be paid attention to because of the legacy they've built through their community. And that's high school football, Friday nights. All right, I'm stepping off my soapbox now. But I think most people try to understand what I'm saying. I'm going to go get Creed in, and then we're going to get Burnip on. So hang on. And we'll find out what's going on with the Tech's scrimmage. All right, got my guy in. You can't just let him in. You have to kind of rub on him a little bit. He looks a little rough. All right, there we go. Mike has now been invited. Good stuff. I think a conversation needs to be had more often than it is. We shouldn't run away from the tougher conversations. I mean, is anybody who is involved with Pulaski County football right now happy with the direction of the program? It's just like asking that question about Virginia Tech fans. Have you been happy with the direction of Virginia Tech fans? No. So what did they do? They completely changed the attention they were giving it via money, via coaches, via support to bring it back. What's the old saying? The true definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Well, Virginia Tech decided that we're not doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? So they got rid of coaches, and they've dedicated themselves to bringing in a lot more money, and look at the fervor that it's caused. Now, will that result into on-field success? We shall see. But you have to do that. You have to pay attention to it. You have to have actions supporting. Just, it's great to sit around in a meeting and say this needs to happen, or boy, no wonder we're not good anymore because we don't do this, we don't do that. And then when it comes time to do the thing, it doesn't get done. So therefore, things continue to slide down that just slippery slope. It's kind of what's going on in collegiate sports right now. Everybody wants to talk about it, and nobody's doing anything about it. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Good stuff, though, in chat, as always, and good stuff with our BDST fan question of the week. Joining us now on the program, it's always good stuff when Mike Burnip joins us. Brought to you by Louise Baker. Louise Baker, Team Long and Foster. And if I'm not mistaken, Mike, you're a traveling man today, correct?
I have. I've been on the roads. Sunday, I was in Ballyhack and Roanoke. Yesterday, I spoke to a Rotary Club in Blacksburg. Today, I'm in Fredericksburg. So I'll leave about 1 o'clock today, get up there for the dinner tonight. So that'll be good. It's the last Hokie Club stop I have. So that's kind of good. And we're about ready to get into a routine here with game week.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Well, let's get into what you've watched. People have been anxious to hear from you at the scrimmages. What have you seen? What have you liked so far that continues to develop now as we get closer and closer to opening night?
The competition's been really good, Rick, and it's it's good that one day the offense will do a better job and the defense will make plays, and the kicking game they make plays. So it's been good competition. That's first. The energy's been good. I think a lot of guys are getting opportunities to play and show what they can do. They're getting a little more depth developed on the offensive line and wide receiver. So yeah, I thought the scrimmage Saturday night was good. They ran 87 plays, which is about like a game. Wow. Yeah, a bunch of plays, and they'll do that again. I think they're going to go into the stadium again tomorrow night, and maybe Saturday night. That'd be kind of the last two with a little bit of contact, but they're going to kind of slow down on the contact part of it. And so yeah, it's been really, really good. Guys, the quarterbacks, all those quarterbacks have made plays. So it's been fun to watch. I mean, yeah, just some good stuff all the way around.
Well, I was going to ask you about the format of the scrimmages. So they are hitting some, but they're going to start pulling back on that, right?
They've been going full blow on a lot of it, a lot of the things, but a lot of time it's thud. You just hit them and then let them go, kind of thing, almost like a two-hand touch type thing. But yeah, you don't want to get anybody hurt, and it's been good in that regard. So yeah, but the scrimmages, they do lots of different things. I mean, they'll go start in midfield. They'll start at the minus 39 or whatever. They'll go red zone in, red zone out. That kind of stuff starts the 2-yard line going out. They'll do a third down situation drill where it's third and short, third medium, third and long. Yeah, so they're doing lots of different stuff. Field goals, they do those. I couldn't believe John Love actually missed one the other day. I was shocked. Like, what happened? It was a little bit wide to the left. I couldn't believe it. I think he was shocked. I think that's the first one I've seen him miss all August. So
when he misses, it's like, whoa, he missed. What?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
That can't be. So yeah, it's been fun watching those guys, and some of those transfers that have come in have done a nice job that maybe didn't get to play much in spring. Jaquez White, the defensive back, some of those guys like him, and Exenor and Denmark, the two wide receivers, they've been looking good in practice. They give them a little depth there with Aiden Green, obviously, and Quayshawn Brown being the main guys. And Marlon Jackson, that kid's come along really, really well, and Davion Brown. So yeah, they've been some guys that have stepped up, and they're going to warrant some playing time for sure.
How have you mentioned the linebackers? Coach Price talked about the linebackers. How has that depth started to develop? That's something I know he addressed directly last time.
Yeah, they're definitely they need some depth there. Caleb Spencer, Noah Chambers have been there for a while. They're guys that have been around and know what's happening. A Keon Wiley kid that came in from Penn State, I think Philadelphia kid. He's looked pretty good. And George Balance is another kid. His dad played here from Virginia Beach. He's had some nice plays out there. So yeah, they're trying to get there. They moved. I think Koval down a little bit to just give him some reps at outside linebacker. So they're just trying to keep working on that, trying to get the guys that can fit the best in the best positions, and just to try to make sure they have enough depth, because it could be a long season and guys are going to get banged up and hurt.
When you watch Jeffrey Overton run the football, who does he remind you of, Mike? You've covered them all. Who does he remind you of the most, former Tech players, the great running backs they've had?
Maybe a little bit like Lee Suggs. He's really, really fast. He's quick to the cuts. He does a nice job. He's a physical runner, and he's got breakaway speed. So yeah, I like the way he runs. He's a little bit like Lee Suggs, and I think he's got a bright future, especially the way he came on late last year, and that's going to be a nice 1-2 punch with him and the Hawk, Marcellus Hawkins, and Messiah Mickens has looked pretty good as well. So they're going to have some depth at running back.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think Overton can be a special player, and Hawkins is just a veteran guy, good kid that seems to have the perfect complement, as you said. I like that. It's kind of like Thunder and Lightning, maybe. Those two guys. Bring that back. I loved it when it was Thunder and Lightning. Let's do that again, right?
Yeah, heck yeah, why not? Because I know they want to run the football, and man, if you can run the football, it makes your quarterback happy, because then he can open up that passing game. So the best friend of a quarterback is a good running game, and I know they want to try to do that and get that thing going. So that'll open up the passing game. And we've seen the tight ends. I mean, those guys are making plays right and left. There's a quantity of them. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 on the field. And this freshman the other day had a 90-some yard touchdown catch. This Peterson, he's a kid from Minnesota, freshman, and gosh, he caught a little slant on the outside and just pulled away from the defensive backs. Now, it wasn't ones-on-ones, that type thing. So he was playing against some of the younger defensive backs, but boy, he took that thing to the house, and I think that opened up some eyes because he's a big kid. He's about 250, 6'4" or so. So yeah, those kids like that have shown up and played well.
Mike Burnop joining us on the program. Thanks to Louise Baker, team Long and Foster Realtors. Mike, got a question here about how's the tackling look overall? I know you mentioned they're going to cut back on some contact, but if you liked what you've seen from this group as a tackling team?
Yeah, I think so. I think they've done well. They don't go low, they protect their players, their teammates, but they're out there, they're being physical, they're competitive, they're getting to the ball quick. So yeah, I think the tackling has been crisp and sharp, and I think it'll be a better product, certainly, that was on the field here the last couple of years. And I think, they have forced some turnovers, which has been good, whether it be an errant pass or a tip pass or those type things. Maybe, not the communication with quarterback and receiver. So they have created some turnovers, which is encouraging for sure, because that's something they lacked last year for sure.
Yeah, you're right. That was missing so much, wasn't it? And that's something that's been such a staple for a good Virginia Tech team. So it just changes the game around, Mike. It's the one thing every coach will tell you, it turns the game on its ear, doesn't it? When you can do that consistently, take the ball away from your opponent.
Yeah, flip the momentum, especially if you got another team that's kind of getting on you a little bit. And that's a great way to change momentum. And that's what Coach Franklin talks about. Let's find out who our erasers are going to be. The Micah Parsons out there that can make a play when you need it on a big third down, get a sack, get an interception, get a tip pass, get a pass breakup and flip the momentum. And if you get a turnover, you're going to flip the field in most cases too. And a lot of times, if you're on the outside and get a pick, a lot of times you got numbers and you can take it to the house. So, because those big old linemen aren't going to catch those guys, the linebackers and defensive backs, right? They're not going to catch them. So then that leaves you running backs and quarterbacks, and generally you're going to have the numbers there. So that's been good to see. And it's good to see Joshua Clark. I think he's had a really excellent summertime out there after coming back from injury. He's looked really, really good. And so, yeah, I think they're going to be okay there.
Someone wrote about the belief that Franklin brings to the table. Do you get a sense of this team's confidence level when they're out there performing, or when you talk to the guys, how they're feeling about things going into VMI?
I think they're excited. I think they're confident. But I think the biggest thing, Rick, is that I think all those guys kind of got a chip on their shoulder. When you think about Coach Franklin after getting fired after that losing streak he had up there with those 3 games, 6 points, and 1 point. He gets shown the door, and then he's out, and that didn't end well. The Brent Pry firing and the guys that were on the team last year think that they underachieved, which they did in a lot of cases. And so they got a little chip on their shoulder. I know Coach Pry does. And so I think that's the big thing. They're going to have to try to prove people wrong and try to get Virginia Tech football reestablished. He kind of brought that up several times. That's been on T-shirts. Reestablish Virginia Tech football to what it was back in the good days when Coach Beamer had it rolling with those 10-win seasons and championships and bowl games. Is that going to equate to this year? I don't know. Again, that schedule, the back half of that schedule with the away games, the league didn't do him any favors with the away games. We've talked about that. You couldn't go any farther away than Virginia Tech is traveling. But that part will be tough. But I think they're playing with a great attitude. And like Coach Franklin used to talk about with his teams at Vandy and Penn State, play those games early, win them, the non-conference games, get some confidence. And maybe we're not going to be as good as we think we are, but the players are going to think we're pretty good if you go out there and win those games. Then you got confidence going into your ACC schedule, and that's going to be important.
Yeah, the league has had a problem, hasn't it, with consistency scheduling. Once again, UVA schedule, NC State kind of misses a lot of the. That's something they've never seemed to have gotten right in recent years, is the scheduling part of the whole thing. Conference.
Oh, I know. I saw one thing the other day. NC State had the easiest schedule in the ACC. They don't play Miami. They don't play Clemson. They don't play SMU. Their non-conference games are Richmond, Vanderbilt, and Appalachian State. You look at UVA, they don't play Miami, Clemson, or Louisville. How about that? And they don't non-conference. They got Norfolk State, Delaware, West Virginia. They don't go west. They don't have the West Coast trip. I mean, it's just crazy how some of that stuff works. Miami, the two teams they lost to last year, SMU and Louisville, they don't play them this year. I mean, like, who sets it up, and how is it fair and equitable when? So it's a good thing that you almost wish they'd go back to the East, West, North, South divisions or something. Just to have a little more clarity, because it's just crazy now that it's so unbalanced. And if you get a bad schedule with a young team, it's going to make things more difficult.
Yeah, I'd take that in a heartbeat now. I would take the old divisions again somehow. It's whatever, make it make sense a little bit. Yeah, help them out a little bit, because they can't seem to get it right on their own. So
yeah, playing 9 conference games. You got 5 at home and 4 in a row, and some teams don't have 9 games in conference. I mean, get the thing straightened out. My goodness, it can't be that difficult. This day and time with computers and everything, AI, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Fix it. Just fix it.
Yeah.
So all the polls are now out, Mike. I don't know how much attention after all these years you pay to them. They're always good chatter. 3 ACC teams in the AP poll. Not one of them is not Clemson. How about that being left out?
Yeah, they got a big chip on their shoulder too. And Dabo, I think he understands and knows it's a big year for him. He's underplaying it like he always does. And somebody asked him in a press conference about who stood out, and he said, "We're just a bunch of nobodies." He says, "We're nobody. We don't have anybody yet. We're just competing." And so that's what a lot of teams are doing. But I think every team out there has got hope. Every team's undefeated, but not much longer, because we're going to start playing games, and somebody's going to be having defeats, and somebody's going to be undefeated. Fortunately, but I think everybody's excited about that. But yeah, Dabo not being ranked, that'll just add a little more fuel to his fire, and he knows it's a big year for him, and that's going to be some important games on that schedule for him for sure.
Yeah, he's been accused of kind of sandbagging. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, of course, you look at last year, the top 2 teams at home, right? Didn't even get to the playoffs. So this year's Texas and Oregon getting all the love, and we'll see what happens to those 2.
Yeah, they are. Ohio State, Texas, and Oregon. Everybody acts like those are by far and away the 3 best teams in the country. We'll see. Things have to happen, right? Human nature always seems to seep into these things, either good or bad. We've learned that.
Yeah. And you're going to have injuries. I mean, everybody does. And you get a key injury to a quarterback or something, and you don't have the depth. Like Virginia Tech, you didn't have last year. I mean, it makes it so difficult. But I think that's the beauty of this team this year, because Bryce Baker, behind Grunkenmeyer, he's looked good. Troy Huhn has looked good. I mean, you go out there, and Keldon Ryan has made some nice plays, and he's fast when he can run. He's a little bit like drones in that regard. But, yeah, they got more depth at quarterback than they've had in a long time here, and that's that one position, man. You feel for those guys, because they protect them the whole spring, all summer, all August. And you go into that first game, man, and it's like, okay, you're live, bro. They're coming at you from every direction. They're going to try to take you out. So that contact part, you got to get used to that, and you got to get used to it quick, because they're not going to hold up and 2-hand touch you this time.
That's a great point. It's got to be tough, doesn't it? Because you trying to protect them, you wrap them in bubble wrap, and then all of a sudden here comes the game, and maybe that's why we see a lot of early injuries to quarterbacks, don't we, across the nation? And maybe that's they're not used to any of that, because you're trying so hard to protect them. Maybe it's being counterproductive in many ways. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one position, right, that they never get hit. Of course, your kickers don't get much contact unless, they're doing a live drill and they're the last defense before the returners are going to take it to the end zone. But yeah, the quarterback is the one guy that they protect, and it's the most important position. And you're going to just throw them live to the wolves there that first game and every game after that. And you got to get used to that contact. Your body does. The recovery time's more. You could hit somebody's helmet with your finger on your release. I mean, there's so many things that can happen to a quarterback. A late hit, or just hitting the ground wrong, or getting covered up by another tackle. It's 340 pounds or something. Those things, they're going to happen. Somebody steps on your foot. I mean, there's so many things that can happen that you got to protect those guys. And the teams that can keep their quarterback upright the whole year got a much better chance.
Yeah, I'm with you. And like you mentioned, surviving injuries is going to happen to every football team. What kind of depth do you have to come there and just kind of fill in the gaps so the other guy gets back? And it happens every year with every football team, every year. And so hopefully that's been improved, like you're saying, that people think that it has. The depth, you see it all the time, and you can see how the guys look. So that's a good sign to be able to get through.
And you look at that's like California last year, Rick. That quarterback, Sangapulatelli, he's really, really good. He threw for a ton of yards and touchdowns, but their running game was last in the ACC, dead last. So, you could kind of tee up on him and get after him if you got no running threat. And that's why you have to have a good running game to be able to withstand that. But if your running backs go down and teams know, hey, they got not much of a running threat, they're going to go after the quarterback. That makes it a whole lot more difficult. And, if Cal can establish a running game this year, which I know they're trying to do, then they're going to be a lot tougher to beat, especially when you go travel out west, which, I think 3 or 4 ACC teams are having to do that this year.
Yeah, they're excited. I've seen some comments about Cal football. They got a new coach who's very off. He's going to fit the quarterback's mindset pretty easily. And you're right, they're going to do some things off. It's going to be interesting to watch. I thought it'd be the other way. I still think it's ridiculous Stanford and Cal are in the ACC, but I thought Stanford would be the one to take a good step forward. But it's been California football-wise over Stanford.
Yeah. So. And what happens? That's because of one good player, right? That quarterback. That dude was a true freshman, and he lit him up, man. He is talented, really, really good. The Hokies were fortunate to beat him last year in overtime, and that was a heck of a game. But you could tell right then that he's special now. He's going to be a good one. And hopefully he won't have a sophomore slump, except for the game that we're out there at.
Yeah, they may have one bad game. Right.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that. The stadium, we were out there for basketball and saw the football stadium, but didn't go in. But yeah, it looks really pretty, and it's old, and it's kind of like Stanford Stadium amongst the trees. I look forward to going there and playing that game. And I know a lot of Hokie fans are going to that game. They've already talked about it, and a lot of them are going to SMU because, there's a lot of Tech alum in Dallas in that area, and that's a smaller stadium, and a lot of fans are excited about that. And I think even Roanoke has a flight now to Dallas. So that'll probably be packed up. Yeah, that week will probably be a packed house from Roanoke to Dallas on that flight.
Well, people seem to love those ponies, man. The Mustang's getting a lot of love, and why not?
That Kevin Jennings is good, man.
I know.
That quarterback, he's talented, and they got some players. Their running backs are good, so if they can replace some of their guys on defense and some of that line, they're a team to look out for. There's no doubt, especially playing them again at home. It's going to be a tough one for the Hokies, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. That's down the road. You just got to take care of business one at a time and get some momentum, get some confidence, and that'll certainly help you going into ACC play.
Well, Mike, safe travels. As always, we appreciate Louise Baker, Team Long and Falls. She's already been going through the tickets she's going to be giving away here on the program and getting ready for VMI. And you've got more people to be excited about it. I know one thing, you've been not surprised, but it's been consistent how excited people are wherever you've gone throughout the summer.
Oh, my gosh, crazy. I mean, every one of those tailgate tours we did with Coach Franklin was sold out. And, all these things have been having great attendance and crowds, and that one in Lunenburg said that's the most people they've had there in a long time. So, yeah, it's good. And I think they got 90 golfers playing in this thing today at Fredericksburg. Wow. Yeah, so that's a bunch. People up there they're Hokies, and they're excited about it. So, yeah, I think everybody's going to be jacked up, lit up. I think that game will eventually sell out. They said they had less than 1,000 tickets left for it, and it's a night game. I think the tailgating, I was at that thing, Sunday at Ballyhack. raise a lot of money for cancer. And some of those people are talking about, yeah, we're going tailgate. We're going to get out there about 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, well, boy, you better pace yourself. That game's at 7:30. You're going to be replacing fluids, and it's going to be hot, and you better be under a tent for a while till kickoff, because you want to be ready for kickoff.
That's right. Yeah. You got to get tailgaters ready to go too. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. They got to get those grills out and test them and make sure everything's under control.
And of course, as always, if you see Mike burn up around the stadium, be sure to offer him some examples of what your grill was able to produce, or your smoker. So you won't mind that at all. So
no, not at all. Bring me samples. We love them at the Lane Lounge, and we'll take anything over there. Yeah. And we look forward to seeing Louise too. She's been great. I know she's excited about the season, and
she is.
I thought about her the other day. There's been a house for sale down here in the hood, and I thought, well, maybe they should have listed that thing with Louise. It might have been sold quicker.
Yeah, that's right.
It would market for a while, and I thought, man, that's not good.
Well, they need to change realtors then. Yeah, they got to get her involved.
Yeah, that's
all right.
right.
Well, have fun today. Congratulations on it being your last trip until you get back in the routine now of the season. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it'll be good. Love going up there. There's some great Hokies up in Fredericksburg, so look forward to seeing them.
All right, man. Well, stay safe, man. Have a good time.
All right, Rick. We'll talk to you next week. You take care.
All right, brother. Take care. There you go. That's a Mike Burnup, the best. Good stuff. There you go. Love to get his reports. He's seen all this stuff up close and personal, and nobody's really getting a chance to do that. So it's good to kind of find out about that. That's a fact, Jack. Love stripes. Hope we get to see some of the talented freshmen like Mickens in the first game. Yeah, I think that'll be a given against VMI. So one thing there that kind of stood out, just Mike mentioned briefly about James Franklin's philosophy with his scheduling. It's going to come under some scrutiny, what he wants to do with the non-conference. And I guess the results will tell us, how that translates here in Blacksburg, but he's clearly going to schedule for confidence and then hope that that breeds into the football team being better, as opposed to scheduling tougher non-conference games into the regular season. And so we'll see how that develops over the years, however long that he might be here and so forth. But I think without a doubt, against an opponent like VMI, I don't think you're going to see the starters very long. Maybe it goes a little longer since it's the first game. But, you're 50.5-point favorites. And I know you wanted to schedule to make sure you won the opener, but this would be a much different vibe around. It would already be exciting, but you imagine the vibe. And I know people are going to say they had nothing to gain by keeping JMU on the schedule, blah, 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 blah. But boy, imagine the fervor around that thing. Team that just came out of the college football playoff. What's up, Chris Lester? He says, I'll be getting snaps by the third quarter. You might. Hell, man, the way you look, you might get more than a couple series, Chris. You might be out there a while. But if you are looking to build depth that gets guys on the field, guys playing college football for the first time, or in Blacksburg for the first time, Chris says no, sir. Keep your all-time best Super Bowls. We're like, this is cool. We got like almost 30 already on the professional door text line. Wow. That's been a good one. 391-0788. We ask you what your, not necessarily your favorite, but what is the best? The best. Like the game that you watched on Super Bowl Sunday that was just it kept you engaged for. No, Tech would not be favored by 30 points against JMU. Not in an opener, which it would have been the open. They'd be favored, but not by 30. And I don't want to give away some of the Super Bowl picks because I don't want to influence. We got some good ones, though. We got some people bringing up games that I forgot about, which doesn't take much. Some of these new Super Bowl, like I said, they kind of run together for me. We haven't had a lot of great games in these Super Bowls. We've had good moments, but the game itself has not been great. And I think you got to be careful. You don't pick out one or two endings or a great. It's got to be. I'm talking about the game from kickoff to all the way through. It doesn't feel like we've gotten that a lot with a lot of the modern last, I don't know, 5 to 10 Super Bowls, things of that nature. I went back. Well, I don't want to say mine yet. Well, I kind of did. Mine's biased. Super Bowl 32 with the Broncos win. Chris is going with Super Bowl 13. Yeah, I know. Your beloved Cowboys were coming off the Super Bowl 12 win against my beloved Broncos in Doomsday. Still remember John Facenda narrating that Super Bowl. And then Doomsday put the final nails in the Broncos. That was the game, 8 turnovers in that game. The Broncos had 8 turnovers in that game. It's a great defense, man. Harvey Martin, Ed Too Tall Jones, and Randy freaking White. Good Lord. Good Lord. Man. But we mentioned that game, the Cowboys game. Jackie Smith catches the ball, then that. But the Cowboys came within, 4 points in each of those Super Bowls against the Steelers, right? Was that 35-31? 35-30? Yeah, Staubach. They always catch it on the highlight when Smith dropped the ball. He was just so throws his head back but he didn't want to make Smith feel bad, but boy, yeah. Roger Staubach was a hell of a football player. A lot of newbies have no idea. He's Mike Ashley's all-time favorite Cowboy. He was called Captain America for a reason. Roger Staubach was one hell of an NFL quarterback. He's one of the original two-way guys, man. He could kill you with his feet, presence in the pocket, intelligence. He had a strong enough arm. You should do a deep dive sometime. Yeah, Navy SEAL, exactly. Heisman Trophy winner at Navy. You should do a deep dive sometime on Roger Staubach if people don't understand how good he was. And I don't care about, we're going to look at his numbers and compare them today. The game has changed so much, evolved. Talking about in the moment, you can only be as good as you are in the moment, in the era in which you played. And there were a few guys that you would want in a 5-year span under center, other than, it's a short line, other than Roger freaking Staubach. Nobody ever going to wear number 12 again in Dallas, nor should they. All right, great stuff today. Thanks to chat. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Couldn't do it without you. Thanks to everybody who's hitting us up on the BDST text line already for our questions. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to Marva. Thanks to Brian Siegler. Thanks to Mike. Tomorrow, the Wednesday edition. We'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody. Take care.